Alright guys, let's talk about Luna on the channel for the first time. Now when I refer to Luna, I'm not referring to Terra Luna Classic, I am referring to Luna 2.0. So let's take a look at this. I have never looked at this on the channel. I do not have any of this project. Actually, I get paid some Luna every, I don't know, few months or something like this, but it's some dust because I took about $100 risk on it when it was going down, and yeah, that ended up being a bad risk. Even though at one point I had like $700 and it looked like it was going up again. Eventually it trickled down to about zero. So anyways guys, it doesn't really matter. This is actually breaking out of a channel. Now, when it breaks out of a channel to the upside, that usually goes back to the top of the channel. So you can see it's probably going to go anywhere in this area, we can say, about 27 cents. Now, it does have a lot of resistance over here to break through. You can see this is pretty much a band of resistance between about 13.5 cents all the way up to about 21.5 cents or so. Basically, you just have a band of resistance. Now, all of this is weekly resistance. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough area to get through, but usually a channel breakout does mean it goes back to where it came from, at least to the upside. So keep that in mind, guys. Now looking at the entire volume profile here, guys, the point of control sits at about 25.5 cents, as you see over there. And basically we are well below that, but does it really make much sense to look at the entire volume history? Probably not, guys. I think most people that hold this now probably bought this within the last couple of years, so I'm really going to zoom in here and let's just put this back to about let's say about right here, guys. So basically we are just barely above the point of control at about 13 cents, and we are right smack dab in the middle of this huge volume candle here. So we do need to get above about 16, let's say 16.5 cents. But then you run into maybe, this is probably a little bit smaller than this candle here, but this looks like the third largest volume candlestick. Basically, once you clear this at about 23 cents, you do have a lot of volume inefficiency here. So there could be a nice run up to about 35.5 cents at that point, guys. So keep that in mind, but we're right in the middle. We haven't even sealed a daily candle over this, point of control. So yeah, once it does that, then we can probably say it's probably going to clear this candle. But the longer the candle, of course, the better. So if it were a weekly candle, that would be even better. But yeah, I do think, this will struggle a little bit here just because there's a big band of resistance like I mentioned before. As for the monthly Bollinger Bands here, you can see that it is quite narrow, one of the most narrow points it's ever been, at least on the monthly time frame, as you see. But it's not really pinching together. So let's go to the weekly time frame here, and let me zoom in a little bit. But yes, the weekly also is a little bit more wide than back in the summer, basically in August and September here. So yeah, but it is starting to come in on one another, so maybe in the next few weeks could pinch. But let's look at the daily time frame now. The daily time frame did have some narrowness here, quite narrow actually. If we go back in the history, we had some narrowness back in end of October, early November, but that led to a pinch that led to a downfall actually. But now we have a pinch here, and this is leading to some price action. So the daily time frame could be helping a little bit. I do think this is a little bit of a pinch here. It's one of the most narrow points that I see here in recent history. Basically, maybe the most narrow point if we go back. But anyways, I'm not going to scroll back through. But this is quite narrow. So I do think on the daily time frame, this is helping the price action quite a bit. Now, looking at the RSI and stochastic here on a monthly time frame, looks pretty good actually. The RSI is very oversold, but it's at one of the highest points it's ever been and sloping up. So I do think it will start to come up more heavily here in the coming months. Now, the stochastic has just crossed the red line to the upside, so it's actually right in the middle of the neutral zone, so it looks very good, monthly time frame. Now, weekly time frame, coming up pretty heavily. Both have just gotten out of this oversold region, so that's very good, I would say. Now, the daily time frame, not so good here. RSI is overbought here. but it's, it's at 71, so of course it can still run up a little bit more. Now the stochastic here has already started to come down, unfortunately, but it is back in neutral territory and kind of looks like it wants to roll back around. So let's see. That's just an assumption, of course. Now the 4-hour time frame, it is actually overbought on both the RSI and stochastic, but of course they can run up a little bit more, and the RSI is just kind of flirting with being overbought too. So now the 1-hour time frame, let's take a look here. The blue line has just crossed the red line to the upside, right smack dab in the middle of this neutral territory. RSI kind of flat, but in neutral territory, so that's fine. Now the 15-minute time frame, it is overbought here on the stochastic. Blue line has just crossed the red line to the downside. The RSI is also, slanted down here. So we have a lot of mixed signals here, guys. So let's take a look at this on the 4-hour time frame. And, we are struggling here in this 4-hour candle, but it just started actually about 8 minutes ago. But the last several 4-hour candles have been green. It has retested this. Now keep in mind these green lines are weekly, daily, or not daily, weekly supports and resistances, I should say. And, the longer the time frame, the candle over these points, the better, of course. So let's see. It did print a 4-hour candle above this. It did retest it. Let's zoom out, actually. The last time it was here was back in October. So we haven't seen these prices since October. So let's see if it can hold it now, guys. Now on the MACD here, you can see that we are getting a dark green candle here. In the last 2 months, it did have a light green candle. It's running pretty much parallel with this red line, this blue line here. Basically, they're running parallel. So actually looks okay on the monthly time frame. Now the weekly time frame, let's take a look. Blue line has just crossed the red line to the upside. We do have some dark green candles here. We did have a small red period here, very small, but basically since May it's been green, you can say, with the exception of this, several weeks here. But yeah, it looks like on the weekly time frame it looks fine. The 1-day time frame also looks pretty good here. We do have dark green candles, and it's pointed pretty heavily to the upside. And we have had a couple of small red periods here, but basically this has been green since about October 22. So for the most part, green. So yeah, monthly, weekly, daily time frames all look good with the MACD, and so the momentum appears to be up for Luna. Now, if you go to CoinGecko, guys, there is actually a lot of news here. In the last hour, you can see there has been an upgrade to Terra Luna. So, anyways, if you go here also, I saw yesterday there was something about Do Kwon where basically he's going to be sentenced. I think they're pushing for 12 years or something like this. If I saw that in here or some other place, yeah, here it is, 12-year sentence. So there's a lot of news about Luna, guys. I, personally would not jump into this myself. Maybe it could be a good risk. It's something, in my opinion, like Mantra, and I have invested into Mantra just a little bit, guys. So if you're looking to get into this project, I wouldn't recommend investing a lot of money. Now, that is not financial advice, but yeah, I just think you can lose a lot more than you gain here. Now, Terra Luna is the number 441 project, up about 35% today. That's excellent. Now, the max supply, keep this in mind, is unlimited. That's another bad thing, guys. Circulating is still quite low, though. You only have 687 million tokens out. Not bad. Now, all-time low was about 4.5 cents 2 months ago. If you picked it up there, you're about 200% up. Now, it says the all-time high here is $18.87. Now, I don't remember where this opened up. But it's possible it opened up on May 28th, 2022 and just, fell like a rock. But Binance only has the history, I think, up to like $5 or $6 or something like this. So, yeah, I don't really recommend it, guys. But be careful, whatever you do, if you're investing in this project. Now, looking at Bitcoin here, we still have this head and shoulders in play. So let's see if it, rides this line here. It doesn't have to ride it perfectly, of course. But basically, we do have a left shoulder here, we have head, and a possible right shoulder in the making. Now, if it breaks this neckline, again, I did say that the target is all the way down here at about $53,000, guys, according to this chart. So I do think if it does happen as well, it's going to take approximately 3 to 5 months. Now, if we go to Ethereum, we do have this channel here. We have broken out of this channel. So basically a channel breakout, just like Terra Luna here, would result in upward action up to about $4,700. Now, the last 5 out of 7 times Ethereum has been within this area here, this purple area, it has failed here. So keep that in mind. Also, if we go to Ethereum, we do have an inverse head and shoulders. Do not confuse that with a head and shoulders. Inverse is positive. So basically the target, if we break this neckline, and we're getting close, guys, you can see this shoulder here on the right side is forming. I do think it will take about 3 months more to break this neckline. Once it does, the target is almost at $8,000. Now, before I go a little farther in this video, guys, you can claim some bonuses on my favorite crypto exchanges below. I also have referral links here for 2 other exchanges, Buyconomy and Bitmart. Guys, if you want to get Moodix, you can get a free 7-day trial here. And if you're looking for a cold wallet, you can get the CypherRock X1, and they're about to start airdropping within the wallet. So basically, it's going to pay you back. Now, you can also follow me on X here too, guys. Now, as for the CME, we did dip into this box today. We do still have about a $170 gap here. Yesterday it was about $200, so we only closed about $30 of it. I haven't readjusted this box just yet, just because I wanted to show you guys. But basically, we still have this gap to the downside, and most of these gaps do get filled. So keep in mind, there's still the possibility, as we're not too far away, sitting at $90,810, that Bitcoin will come down and close this gap before it starts to run again. As for the total market cap, we are still outside this channel, so that's a good sign, but we are struggling with 3.05 trillion, this resistance here, unfortunately. Now, if we go to the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, this is doing a little bit better. It's still struggling with $1.25 trillion, though. So let's see if we can finally get a bounce and get up here to 1.31 trillion. Now, if we look at the Bitcoin dominance, again, we have a little bit of a green day, but yeah, if we zoom out here, we are still forming this right shoulder, so of course we do have a little bit of a bounce here, but I do anticipate this probably bouncing something like this along the way. But as long as we break this red line here, I think, we're going to see massive downside on the dominance, all the way down to about 50% here at least. Now, if we go to the USDT dominance, getting a little bit of a bounce today. You can see this tiny green candle. But the last several days, it has been falling, so people have been putting their money back in the crypto. Altcoin season index has just gone down from a 35 to a 33, so that's not good if you hold altcoins like me. Now, liquidation heat map only at $207 million, which have been wrecked in the last 24 hours. Yesterday was a little bit more elevated, I think closer to about 500 million if I remember. Now, if we go to the fear and greed, it sits at a 22. Next update is in about 15.5 hours here. And if we look at the bull market peak indicators, sell at the top, still 0 from 30 have been hit. Progress is 43.27%, so it's still 100% hold here. And the pi cycle top indicator, I think this went up just slightly from yesterday. So we were a little bit above 44, but I think it did, go up like 0.1 or 0.2 or something like this. Now, today on the economic calendar, we do have ADP employment change. We also have JOLTS job openings and U.S. leading index. So basically, the most important would be the job openings here. If we look at Moodix, slightly negative day, but we've only had one piece of news come out today. But the sentiment is still risk on, and that trend is growing. Now, if we go to FedWatch Tools, almost a 90% chance that we're going to get that quarter point cut. If you look at Polymarket, pretty much the same. You have about a 95% chance of a quarter point cut here as well. Now, looking at crypto bubbles, the day has not been so good just yet, but the last hour has been pretty good. Actually, it looks really good. So we'll leave it here. Anyways, guys, if you want to stake your Luna, basically you can go here to Coinondo and you can type in Luna, and yes, you can see it has it here. There's 5 results. So be careful. Don't just blindly send your Luna around, guys. And yeah, like, subscribe, activate the bell, share this video with your friends. Like I said, check out some of those links I have below, guys. Basically, I do get a little bit of commission, but it's very small. Unless you're trading hundreds of millions or something like this, yeah, then I'll probably get a few bucks. But it really helps out the channel, guys. Also, if you become a member of the channel, it really helps out. And I appreciate those super thanks, some people have sent me lately. And guys, I will see you in the next video.